Hi, and welcome to, I guess, the first of 14 recordings on launching my book, I guess, leading up to the launch. This is the site that I made, I guess, 4 days ago. And really, it's just a simple Tailwind site hosted on Begin. It doesn't really have much. It's the front for the Gumroad page that I created for this book. For those who are new, I'm just going to introduce this video a little bit for some context. So basically, what happened was I am between jobs, and I've been watching Daniel Vassallo's success with his book for a while. And on April 10th, he said, if you're tempted by this, well, Naval said, there's never been a better time to launch a digital product. So Daniel said, my advice to first time creators is to start with a very small product, something you can finish in 2 weeks and charge $10 for it. Yeah. So I was like, all right, this sounds like something that's doable, and I've never done anything on my own. So let's try to do that. And fast forward to, I think, blah blah blah. I think a lot later, yeah, April 24th, which is the 2 weeks, I guess, of that was time given. And I had 50 chapters, and these are the original chapters planned. So, I originally started thinking I could do this in 2 weeks, and I was completely wrong because I have a lot to say about coding careers. So I just figured, what the hell, just keep going. That was 38 days ago, and now I'm finally near the point where I've written everything that I wanted to write. Well, almost. So here's my writing plan. I've been checking things off and moving things along, just like a little Kanban board, and I'll be showing some people the full structure, which is everything I've written. There's some stuff that is still not finished yet, which makes this launch harder because I still have to write the book while I launch it. I think I can manage it. It gives me less time to launch, but I feel like that's probably realistic. You're always working on it to the last minute. So I have three chapters. I've already dropped one. There's 19 in the icebox, which I was supposed to write, but I never got to. And I had to cut scope. And those were just things I feel like couldn't do justice with, or like those. Everything's left is the stuff that I could not remove. I couldn't bring myself to remove. Anyway, so these are the final few, and I just finished today Beyond Your Coding Career, and that's like in a book structured like that, like it's careers, it's a career guide, it's principles, it's strategies, and it's tactics. And principles are things you always have on. Strategy is like one-off big decisions, and then tactics are one-off small decisions or small activities that you're going to find yourself that you want to guide on. But anyway, the coding career one is the only part of the book that's linear. And the essential guide was essentially just to say, like, here's the missing manual, right? Like here's everything that as you get through these stages from code newbie to to junior developer to senior developer, and then the two transition stages in between job hunt and junior to senior, like you'd have some sort of guide, somebody to tell you like, hey, here's everything that you should probably know because this is what everyone supposedly knows if you just read a lot. And so here's my service to people is to just consolidate and curate everything. And then the final bit is beyond your coding career is like, all right, there's a lot of people who actually stop coding and then do other stuff. So like engineering management, product management, DevRel, all this kind of stuff. So I just wrote 4,500 words on this today, and that was a lot more than I thought that I had to say. But that's how these things usually work out. And I think it's not exactly what people sign up for. People want to know about coding careers, but they also should know something a little bit about what happens after, because that's where more than likely half of them are going to be headed. So that's what I thought I was doing there. The others are mostly written. I'm going to delete that because I feel like it's just self-evident. And then there just needs to be a lot of editing. I haven't figured that out yet, but that's the fun of this. So here's my launch plan. I also talked with Joel Hooks today, just about his general launch advice, just because he's done this a few times and runs a pretty big company. He gave me this advice on pricing. So, a book people usually sell as one book, but the pros, they have tiers, and so what we're trying to work on is like what the tier is. Like 1x, the base tier is just a book. 2x is something that's a little bit more, and then 5x is something that is gold tier that you want people to really go for, and that usually makes the bulk of the revenue, like 68% of the revenue. So that's something that's obviously super attractive, and I should spend some time on that, right? I have set up a Discord with Tien, who's helping me work on this stuff, and hopefully this Discord is going to be something that's the base of whatever happens to this book after launch. It hopefully becomes a community and the course, and will drive all of that off of this Discord. I'll have to think through that one because I'm trying to think about this as like a paid channel, but maybe that might not work because the nature of chat is just to pull in people. So we'll see what to do about that. Okay, so and then I'm also unsure about the editing process. Yeah, I already talked about that. So yeah, I mean, this is all I got done today because I just spent so much time writing. And likely I'm gonna have to bump stuff off tomorrow too because I got to write this chapter. And that's the finale, so that's fairly important. But then I also have to start working on other stuff. I have to start figuring out cover art. So I think like I grabbed this picture off of somewhere. I'm not sure what the IP rights of this is, so I gotta go figure that out. I gotta decide on shifting platforms. I pretty much already decided I'm gonna shift to Podia. So this is the new site that I'm working on. This is how it looks right now. Podia looks like a great platform. It seems newer than Gumroad, so I might run into some bugs, but I've got friends who vouch for it, so I'm just gonna go shift and figure out what's next. I also want to work on additional illustrations and cheat sheets and stuff, which I think those take time. So there's a lead time, and so here I'm planning everything out in terms of like T-14 all the way to T-0, and I think it's really it's a time crunch now. It's really important. I'm juggling a ton of different things. It's really important to figure out what's time sensitive and what is less time sensitive, and the time sensitive stuff must be done, or you just have to push back the launch, which just doesn't look good. So the other thing I'm thinking about as well is that I also want to, I promised the pre-salers, the people who brought pre-sale, I think there's like 200 something of them. Let's look at that. Road. So basically, I sold 100 off book. Essentially off Gumroad. I just got a direct transfer from my buddy, from Zell, and everything that's on book here. Where the hell did it go? That's not it. That's not it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so 3.3K. Yeah, so everything that's on here, that's 143 people that I gotta make happy, right? So yeah, I need to go. That's a pretty good conversion. Holy shit, 143 divided by 2029, 7%. I don't know if that's good or not. Anyway, so yeah, I gotta email these people with the drafts and bring them along, have them give feedback, right? Because they bought into this idea. And also have special reviewers and affiliates that I want to deal with. And I think giving them 10 days, like the ones the testimonials that I really want, I hope to give them a week. That's already super tight. I was hoping to give them 2 weeks, but I'm just not done. So I have to push this back. But no matter what, I have to finish this stupid book by 4 days from now. It's not finished. Like I could still like edit stuff, in the week after, but it's finished to the point where I can show testimonial givers and they should be reasonably happy with it. So that's a high bar, and I need to go figure that out. But essentially that's it. I don't have like a strong marketing plan. Like people are like, how come you don't have a big email list? I'm just relying on Twitter. Hopefully you'll get somewhere on Hacker News. And then that's about it for V1. I have podcast launch. I gotta reach out to podcast people. Who are they? Maybe I should sponsor them as well. Maybe I should not. um, and YouTubers reach out. I have a couple of friends that I might be able to get on and do a podcast, do a show with. And then I should also email Full Stack, which is Academy, which is the boot camp that I went to, and offer them a deal because that's where I graduated from. Deal. And yeah, so that's about it. This is the report for T-14. Kind of shitty, I know, and I'm sure a lot of this will get torn up. But essentially, like, I don't know. I figure you don't really get to see behind the scenes of a launch. And I have no idea how much I will make. I've made 4,000 so far. Optimistically, my expectations are 10x that, so 40K. My original expectations were 8K. So basically I calculated this, right? Like if I make 200,000 a year, right? And if I divide by 52 weeks and I multiply by 2 weeks, that's 7.7K. So I rounded it up to 8K. And so I was like, if I put in 2 weeks of work and I make 8,000, that would be a good amount. And so obviously I've taken more time than that. So let's say I'm taking a total of 8 weeks. That's 2 months. That's probably something close to what I started April 10th. I'm launching June 1st. So something like 8 weeks. That should mean I need to make 30K. Holy shit, that's a lot. So yeah, I mean I think I'll get there. People, my friends have been very supportive, and I think it's a category that's not really well pursued. But anything beyond that, like, could it make 100K? I don't know. I feel like I haven't done the appropriate marketing yet. But still, like, this is a very long-lived game, and it's not just for launch day. So I'm not super worried about that. I do have to figure out like content marketing. I've put out some free chapters. I need to bundle that up and make that like a tempting download or whatever. And I have one free chapter planned at T-3. So that should hopefully whet the appetite. I'm not sure. Like, I think this is the most in demand topic that I can release that would get a lot of shares. And yeah, we'll see. And then hopefully that will give us something for the launch. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, see you tomorrow.